Alright, so I have kind of removed the graph that I have created in my previous video. Now in this video, since we are talking about the filters, it is really important to understand the slices as well. So in Power BI, there is a visualization called slicer. So I will take it. This is the slicer one. If you hover, there is a slicer pop-up showing and a slicer has opened. Now see what happens if I put some value on it. If I click on it here, it is only showing one field. Okay, that is named as field only. Now here I want to take the product category. Let's see what happens if I take the product category. You can see all the product categories. Now if I select, let's say, accessories, you can see all the visualizations are filtered down by accessory only. So here if you see the product subcategory, here we only have bike racks, bike stands. These are all accessories. Now if I select only bikes, then you can see mountain bikes, road bikes and touring bikes. Now if I select clothing, you can see all the visuals are changing. Now why don't we use this one instead of this one? Okay, so I mean, why we use this is basically there are some additional functionalities in the slicer. So let me quickly show you. I will first remove this category name, and instead of that I will put a date here. So from the calendar I will put a date. Now if you see, the date is looking like this right now, but this is kind of extreme level, because here you have to scroll all the way down and that is really not good. So in here, if you click on this small drop down, you can see there are many options in here. I will just zoom it out so that you can see there are many options. So first you have the between option. Let's see what happens if I make it between. You see, this is cool because you can actually now select the date range, whatever date range you like this. Okay, now we have another option called before. So if I make it before, you can only select the maximum date. So you can only select what should be your maximum date to show the data. You cannot select the minimum date here. The minimum date will be fixed. And now similarly we have after as well. So if you have after, then you can only choose the minimum date. You cannot choose the maximum date. The maximum will be kind of static. Now if I come to this list, so list is, we have already seen this, we don't really need the list. So we have another option called drop down. So if it is a drop down, then you have to click here and then you have to choose whatever you like, which is not really helpful again. Then we have the relative date. So in relative date, this is really important. In relative date, let's say I want to see for the last 30 days. I want to see only the data for the last 30 days, or maybe weeks, maybe months, maybe years. So let's say if I want to take here the last 7 and if I make it years, then see what happens. So okay, let me just make it like this. Okay, so if I take last 7 years, let's see what happens. It is only showing the data for only 2015 because this is 2022, right? Now, so this is how you can change it. Now you have the next as well. So you want to see the next 7 years, you can do that too. You want to see this year or maybe this day only. So right now it is only showing blank because we don't really have this date. This is 23rd of November. So it won't really work for this one. So this is how you can actually change your date slicer. But I would suggest that if you use the date slicer, the between is the best one. So if you make it between, you can actually slice your data by any date that you want. So let's say I only want to see the 2015 data. So what I will do, I will select here, I will click here and I will just go to 2015 and I will go to December and then I will go to 31st December. Now only 2015 data is selected, and if you see in 2015 we have all, I mean, we only sold the bikes. So the product category is also bike and the product subcategory is the bikes one. Now if I only want to see for a particular date range, let's say this date range. Now for this particular date range, you can see the total orders for bikes, road bikes, etc. So this is how you can actually filter your data. Now there are many other slices as well. So if you, let's say, instead of date, if you want to put another slicer, so what you will do, you will take another slicer here. I will select another slicer and let's say here I only want to show the product subcategories. So people will be able to select the product subcategories as well. I will drop it in the field and let's see what happens. I will put it somewhere over here and then Here I will make it a drop down instead of this, and then here if I only want to see a particular product subcategory, I will just select this and let's see what happens. I will increase the date range. Okay, so there is nothing for this one. Let's select bike racks. So you see, for the bike racks we have the data. So this is how you can use the slicers, and there are many formatting options as well. So I mean, the one important option, that is slicer header, we really don't need it because this is kind of obvious that we are using the date here. And for the subcategory we will remove the slicer header, and then we will come to the title, we will put it on, and we will say product subcategory. So this is how you can play around with the slicers, and I think this is really helpful when you create a dashboard, because it helps user to look at the data from different dimensions. So that's it for this video. See you in the next lecture.